What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Jump. The Miami Hurricanes will be going home to play in a national championship. What a ball game. Miami beats Ole Miss 31-27. And the Miami Hurricanes will now be playing for a national championship for the first time since early 2002. It's been a long time coming, but the U is back to prominence, to the top of the sport. And it's beautiful to see. It is awesome to see. ACC beats SEC, for those that care about the conference stuff too. Unbelievable game. And honestly, a game where Miami, against all odds, gets it done. I say against all odds because there were, I think, to my calculations, 473 picks that they dropped. Unbelievable there. There was the fluke interception that Ole Miss picked off Carson Beck with 3:19 left in the third, where Ole Miss gets the ball tipped up at the O-line, at the line, and they come down with it where they're already in field goal range. They had missed field goals. They had tons and tons of penalties. Xavier Lucas gets taken out on a play where he gets called for targeting, which was also on Caden Lee again. So ironically, Caden Lee had, which obviously I didn't watch all of like every single second of like a MAC game all year, but maybe the two most controversial targeting calls in the entire college football season were on Caden Lee. One in the Georgia Sugar Bowl game, one in this one in the Fiesta Bowl. Unbelievable. And then the next play followed up by Blay, just a stupid late hit. Unbelievable. It was penalty after penalty. Everything piling up over and over again. And honestly, if you're a box score watcher, you'll say Carson Beck played pretty well. 23 for 37, 2 touchdowns, ran a touchdown in there at the end. He's the hero, all this stuff. He didn't have a great game. The 14 incompletions, there was one on the last drive. There was one early, I think, with Tony maybe. There were a few throughout the game that he just underthrew the deep ball, threw a bad pass on a play that probably would have resulted in a touchdown. Unbelievable. Didn't have a great game, but he didn't have to because of his supporting cast. Mark Fletcher, once again, 133 yards. Brown, 54 yards. Tony, 11 on the ground, 81 through the air with the miraculous touchdown late. The kid's supposed to be a senior in high school. Like, what do you say? This dude is absolutely unbelievable. Tremendous game from a lot of these dudes. Keelan Marion was awesome all game. He was incredible. CJ Daniels, the season starts with him. That unbelievable catch against Notre Dame. It's one of the things that's engraved in my memory from this season. And it's not over yet, but it ends with him as well because of that 3rd and 6 that he ends up fighting for his life to make sure he gets across the line. He does and extends this game for the Miami Hurricanes. Unbelievable. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. There was all of this. There were so many back against the wall moments after all of these fluke things that just kept going against exactly what they wanted to do, and they still did it. Now, part of this game and why this was like so close, it's a big part on Miami. Miami absolutely dominated this game and went away from what they were dominating with. The total yards ended up being 459 to 398, but it felt like 600 to 200. They ran for 191. It felt like 350. It was unbelievable. They, all night, I tweeted it on that final drive where Carson Beck ends up running it in. I said, Brown and Fletcher's getting a walk-in touchdown right here. That's how they got there. There was I think it was Marion that caught it. Then they're like inside like the 5 or the 10 or whatever, and then they run one to get them inside like the 3. There was all that. And I don't even know why they dropped back right there. I would have just kept running it. They still had another timeout after that. But nonetheless, they go away from what was dominating all night, and they still figure it out and get out on top. Unbelievable, man. This game, like the picks, they obviously could have won this game by a lot, by a ton of points. Like the interceptions, a couple of those would have gone to the crib for sure. 31-27 final. It doesn't matter what happened. A win is a win. Doesn't matter how you got here. If you made some mistakes, if you played perfect, does not matter. But credit to Ole Miss as well. What a season. What a year. The part of me that absolutely loves the chaotic, just mind-blowing, crazy things that I want to tell the grandkids about, that part of me was like, I want Ole Miss to actually go win a title because of this whole Lane Kiffin story. Like, what if Lane never wins one? Then Ole Miss won this one, and he's not going to get a ring from it even though it's his team and it's all this chaos. The fact that you're in this situation, hats off to you, Pete Golding, hats off to you, Joe Sloan, Charlie Weiss, that whole staff over there, Trinidad Chambliss, Kejuan Lacey, all these guys that are technically going to go back to Ole Miss, and it's not going to be all this like chaos, but I'm sure a lot of Ole Miss guys are going to jump ship, go straight to Baton Rouge on the first flight that they can get on tomorrow. But nonetheless, the 2025-2026 Ole Miss Rebels will always have a special place in my heart because the miraculous Georgia win, the tremendous fight tonight, and you can argue that they should have had something called on that final play and say that it was a PI. I don't have a say in that, but it was crazy. Absolutely crazy night in general, and they've had a unbelievable run. They just against all odds. It felt like all the time, back against the wall, at time after time after time after time, and they go out and they finish 13-2. But man, I think Oxford's proud tonight. I think there's gonna be a lot of tears. Saw Trinidad getting emotional after the game, thinking there's a good chance that this is his last college game, and I think it probably will be. Very, very sad. One of my favorites in the sport. And as a Kentucky fan, when he came in against us, I was like, how in the world is this dude the backup? Look at what he did this year. Insane. He was awesome. This whole core of this team was amazing. And it's just the start of the Pete Golding era. So be excited, Ole Miss. Hotty toddy. What a great year. But for Miami, it's not done yet. You have... you got the homegrown kid from Florida, Malachi Tony. He also had a crazy almost catch. They called it a catch on the field. His heel didn't get down. It was a full mess, and it was very controversial online. But the fact that he's in that situation, one-handed, getting his body just thrown to the sideline or whatever, and still almost gets his foot down. Not too many dudes in the history of the sport making that catch, let alone in college football right now, let alone just turned 18 years old. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the storylines are never ending with this. Like Carson Beck, I still remember when I was at my buddy's house and he comes in up, I guess 58-7 at that point or something in the TCU National Championship, and it was like, oh, once that boy Stetson's gone, this guy's up next, and they're about to win like 3 straight with him. He comes in and doesn't get it done. He doesn't get the national championships, and that's what the expectation is there. So he goes, and he's known as used goods. He's washed. He's not a great quarterback. Decides to go and put his name in the draft, bet on himself. But then Shannon Dawson calls and eventually says, I see another potential number 1 pick in Carson Beck. Now, he's not going to be the number 1 pick, but this kid balled out throughout this year to be able to get this team in this situation and has made plays. I said he didn't have a great game tonight. He still made plays when they were needed to be able to get this team in scoring position and winning position. It was awesome to see. So Carson Beck alone, the storyline's there. The kid from Jacksonville that was just booted to the side for Gunnar Stockton after his injury and everything last year, but then withdraws from the NFL draft, goes to Miami, does the Cam Ward type thing again, and he goes out and he didn't get around where he was going to win Heisman or anything, but he got this team to some dang good football, and it's just amazing. The backfield duo, crazy. The receivers, wild. The defense, I mean, that's 27 points that a team had to absolutely grind their butt off for. Hats off to you. And it stinks for Xavier Lucas because he should not be missing the first half of this national championship, but he will, sadly. This team's been through a whole lot, through some adversity, the Louisville game, the SMU game, and everybody's like, how in the world? Like, this team's terrible. There was all this controversy when they were about to be snubbed out of the playoff. I was on your side because of what this team has. The U is stacked. They're stacked every year, but this year, this is the one. These seniors that returned. That's the thing about this team is like, people talk about Miami. People honestly talk about Miami how Texas Tech is actually living it out. like, I respect Cody Campbell, I respect Texas Tech and all that. I still think Joey McGuire is one heck of a ball coach, but people talk about Miami like what Texas Tech is. Texas Tech's going out there and just buying everybody. Miami has that money, but they do that to retain guys. Whether it's Maui Noah, Ruben Bain, Hakeem Messidor, a lot of these guys, they're not plug and play. They are grown up around the program, and Mario and his staff groom these guys into phenomenal football players, and they're built with this current U brand, because like Mario Cristobal says, the U isn't back. It's a new version. It's just this new era of how they're built, and they're built to a T of how Mario Cristobal wants it. It's awesome to see. This is very, 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 very cool. Carson Beck, also with him, the drama with the Cavender twins. I don't remember. It's is it Hannah and Haley? I don't remember their names. But he dated one of them. The other one's dating Jake Ferguson, I think. But he dated one of them, and that was all the drama. He had like Ferraris stolen from his crib. Like it was a wild scenario. And this man right here is one win away from being a national champion as the starting quarterback. That was all offseason. That was like, all right, man, like he's written off. Now he's just drama. Now he's all caught up with these girls and everything, and he's not going to be any good. Miami's going to be terrible. I was part of the crew that thought Miami wasn't going to be good, but I flipped very quick, and I flipped to the U side on things, and I'm very glad I did, because the U has been awesome this year. For Mario Cristobal, he goes to his alma mater to do this, to get Miami to the national championship level again. Not to bring them back like he always says, but to get them back to national championship level play year in and year out, and he's doing it. And this is not just a fluke thing. Like, they are going to keep this going, but this group right here is very, very special. So no matter what happens 11 days from now, it's going to be awesome. It is going to be cinema in that game. What a run, man. What a run. A 10 seed. Now, Notre Dame fans, I know you were mad about Miami and all that. Be mad at Alabama. You should have had that spot. That's very clear at this point. But this is what sports are all about right here. Like, Joel Klatt was getting clowned for saying, like, we don't like Cinderella runs or whatever. Like, seed-wise, this is a Cinderella run. A 10 seed. They were the lowest seed of all the Power 4 teams. Think about that. Like, the only teams that were 11 and 12 right behind them is James Madison and Tulane. They were written off. They weren't supposed to win the first game. I was a doubter of that. I said they should be in. Playing at Kyle Field's tough. They go in there, win their brand of football. All right, you're playing the defending national champs. I don't know about it, man. This might be the end of the journey. They're absolutely loaded. Best roster in the entire sport. Doesn't matter. We will play Miami football and go win that game. All right, man, now you're going up against the big bad SEC. The last one remaining. They've knocked off the other SEC teams and all this stuff. What do? They play Miami football and go win. And I got to know where Michael Irvin is tonight. They showed him periodically throughout the game. I got to know what he's doing tonight. I'd imagine he's at some wild party and getting a little turn tonight. So hats off to him. He's been in enough 4-point stances to make it worth it to be in a national championship. He's been awesome. Just complete dominance from Miami. And they, even when they went away from what they are known for and what they dominated with, they were able to figure out and get back to what was winning the battle. Like, they lose the turnover battle. They have 6 more penalties. Unbelievable that they're in this situation to even win this game. But look at the time of possession. 41 minutes to 18 minutes. That's domination. That is domination right there. 2 for 2 on 4th downs. That was very, very clutch. Awesome, awesome stuff. And a dominant performance from Miami. And now they're 1 win away from being crowned national champions once again. The weird thing now is Carson Beck after the game. I mean, he's doing all his talk. Mario Cristobal also, I was just picturing in my head because after the game he cracked like one smile. Somebody must have done something goofy behind the camera or whatever. But like, he cracked one smile. The rest of that, it was like, whatever. Like, this is blah 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 blah. Still got to focus on going 1-0 next week. It was just straight to it, monotone. Nothing special here. No tricks, anything here. And I was like, man, if Kurt Signetti and him match up in the college football playoff, these sideline reporters are going to be in for a nightmare scenario because these guys are scary. Very, very scary. But Carson Beck, he said, see y'all at Hard Rock. That was the final thing that he said to Miss Holly Rowe there in the postgame. It will be pretty cool. They're going to Hard Rock. But the problem is, either way, they're playing either a 1 seed or a 5 seed. Whoever wins tomorrow night, they'll be wearing road jerseys at home. Crazy, crazy scenario that we're in. But they're hosting. It's happened with the Super Bowl a couple times now. Now it's happening in college football. Going to be awesome. And it's not like it's the most dominated home crowd ever anyways. Miami's got a huge fan base, but there's not a whole lot of them that are right there in Miami Gardens and everything. Like, there's going to be a good crowd of whoever else is there. But the U's going to show out. Great win for Mario Cristobal and the U. Awesome, awesome game. Love to see this. Love to watch it. Absolute scenes, man. This was awesome. Leave some of your thoughts and comments below on this video. I'm obsessed with this team, man. They are absolutely awesome. Peace.